We were together for 15 years. We were married for 7. It was a beautiful thing, and we still had, like, the normal ups and downs. But I will say we didn't have a relationship where we argued all the time. Yeah. We didn't have a relationship where we were dealing with infidelity or stuff like that, during those times. We didn't have that type of relationship. So, because we were friends first. Yeah. So it was always like, that's my homie. It was just something in me as a woman. I cannot explain it to where it was like I was battling myself. You feel like I'm trying to do the right thing, but it's something that's pulling me away from doing this. But why would it pull me away from my husband? I'm battling in the midst of that with religion, like what the people telling me at church and what I'm getting spiritual advice from. And then I'm battling with it with myself. Like, why am I feeling this way? I'm talking about I'm going to therapy for myself to figure out why am I feeling this way towards my husband. And the way I was feeling, it wasn't like I felt resentment towards him. It was almost like I was withholding a piece of me that I couldn't give him. I'm sitting on the couch and we had a small issue, and that small issue was back that pattern. Now, mind you, we done went to therapy for this. We done had talks for this. I done talked to you. What did you get from this after I said it? To make sure you understand, because I love to communicate. And I'm sitting on the couch, y'all, and I kid you not, God told me, that is not your husband. Wow.
So I believe that is the Crock Pod podcast. And guys, there's a lot to unpack, and there's another clip I'm going to follow up with where she explains what she says here. But I've covered a lot of videos on this where women are given the grace and latitude to do these things, to break up the family, even though there's nothing wrong, even though I think she will turn around and say things happen towards the end, but things do happen. You were with this guy 15 years, and I believe she got married pretty early, if I'm not mistaken. And a lot of these women on social media, when they make these videos, they're supported by women. If they just decide, hey, I'm not feeling it anymore, I'm going to make up a reason because things are just going too well. We didn't argue. He didn't beat on me. There was no infidelity, no nothing, but God just told me after 15 years that this just isn't the dude for me. And I think, in my opinion, is based off of FOMO, fear of missing out. Social media popping up. You see all these different things that these guys are doing or that these women appear to be doing with these guys. And you feel like you're missing out on these things. And women will create problems just to sabotage their marriage and anything else, their relationships, just to be able to live that lifestyle and end up regretting it. Now, she's a successful entrepreneur, just like a few other women that I've covered where women were like, well, she had to leave the husband because she would have never became a successful entrepreneur. Da, 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 da. Now she's a single mom and notices that things aren't as easy as she thought that they were going to be. But women do this all the time. I just got bored. I'm just tired of it. Social media shows, and there was a guy, I can't think of his name, he talked about this, where you compare your lifestyle to what's on social media and you try to live up to these things that really is poisoning your mind to make you think hypergamy, there's much better out there for me. And then let's see what you end up with at the end of the day. After getting cheeks clapped, multiple dates, you look at it like, man, I should have stayed with my husband. I should have stayed with my husband at the end of the day, but this is where I'm at with it. So let's jump into this next clip here.
So when he came in, I was like, I want a divorce. Now, mind you, we don't argue. And the issues that we had at that time were very small, minute. Yeah. We arguing about who turned the light off now. Yeah. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's never none of that stuff like that. You know the small stuff. So I'm like, and then as I'm getting advice from other people, I'm talking to spiritual people, I'm talking to people I'm calling church. I'm listening because I'm trying to make sure, I prayed for this marriage. I fasted, I abstained from sex for 2 years for this marriage. Like, why would God tell me to leave my husband? Why would God tell me this is not your husband? Like, how, Sway?
Exactly. How, Sway? How could this not be your husband? You prayed for him. You fasted. You didn't get clapped for 2 years, which that's the standard number for every woman. When you meet a woman, she hasn't been intimate with a man for 2 years. That's the standard answer that they tell you. But if this man was all these things, it took you 15 years to realize that he wasn't, because God spoke to you and said all of a sudden you need to move on and become a single mom. Because being a single mom is better than what's going on here. No arguing, no infidelity, none of that stuff. Anyway, let's get on to the next clip, guys. Let's go.
from a 2-second clip, they hear me saying all these good things, but they're not listening to the words.
Yeah.
I said that we never had at that time, so they not listening to the full context of the video.
Yeah.
So I'm just praying for those people that they get the clarity that they need.
What would you say, just to, I guess maybe the comment, God would never say that to you?
I'm praying for them, and I pray that they get a relationship with God and really get to know God, and understand his voice clearly. Because yes, the devil will try to poke and do things of that nature. But if you are a believer, if you are somebody who've ever encountered God's voice, you know the sound of it.
Yeah.
You know the feeling of it when you hear it, and when you instructed to do something. It's like it ain't like, go do this. Like, Satan is going to entice you with something.
Right.
He would have been like, after me receiving all this news, I feel like he probably would entice me to go cheat on my husband or do something of that nature.
Right.
Versus me leaving and removing myself and still trying to be, nice to this man, forgive this man. I feel like that it would have been a different role.
Yeah.
So I feel like the people that are saying that, it's triggering for them. And the conversation is very triggering, because you got a lot of people who grew up in single parent homes. Their mom left their dad, or their dad left their mom. So the D word is hard for everybody. Absolutely. And it's very triggering.
Absolutely.
And then you got the people that's in a culture now where they're trying to find their person. So from a 2-second clip, they hear me saying all these good things, but they're not listening to the words.
Yeah.
I said that we never had at that time. So they not listening to the full context of the video.
Yeah.
So I'm just praying for those people that they get the clarity that they need.
Yeah. And so.
Well, baby, in their defense, it was more than a 2-second clip. It was a minute and a half of you saying this. Now, if you're happy at the end of the day and you can live with yourself and what you did, but marriage is a serious thing. And I get it when you're at a young age. I got married when I was young, and you really don't know who you are. And through social media, friends going out and about, you realize that, hey, I got more options, or I'd rather be with this person, or I'd rather be with this type of person instead of the man you with, which is wrong, but that's just how it is. When you tend to view social media and people getting in your ear and all these other things at that point. But I think if you didn't have a lot of issues, I think eventually there probably was something where you started making it an issue, because you started looking at him different, and I think you started resenting him overall. So for someone to say, God spoke to me, and say, unless this person was just doing something terrible, God spoke to you to just leave the person. And I think she gets into, there were signs, and I'll link the full video here for you guys to watch it. But Tyrese did a video on this where he was on Shannon Sharp, where he was talking about, I didn't make a promise to you, I made a promise to God. And he's like, well, where the fuck are you at? We made these vows, and all of a sudden you just treating it like, And I'm not saying this goes for a man putting his hands on you. A man can't provide. A man basically is dependent on you to do everything. I'm not talking about any of that, because that's what ladies gonna say. But what if he's putting his hands on you? What if he's not providing anymore? What if he's not upholding his vows as the husband? Just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Comment below.
This is the book of Job, chapter 39, verse 17, and it reads, Because Yahweh Bashem Yahushai hath deprived her of wisdom, neither hath he imparted to her understanding. Giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai Bahashem Rahakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well in teaching us this 100% truth. Salutations to them and my fellow Akim who labor in this truth week in and week out on the highways and byways. Also, salutations to the hopeful elect that is scattered abroad. That is the 144,000 rulers and judges of Israel, and also the innumerable multitude. To you, I say shalom. This is your brother Ayashah Barazar from the Indianapolis branch, coming back at you with another lesson that is edifying to the elect body of the nation of Israel. And before I get into this lesson, the Fair Use Act was declared at the beginning of the video. I just want to restate it again for the purpose of this video, for the clip that was used at the beginning. This is the copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. And that's just it. There is no profit being made off of this video, no monetary gain. It is strictly for the purposes which were stated. And I'll repeat those again: criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research, because each one of those were involved in putting together this video. All right. So, what you saw was that woman, Jake woman, who after 15 years, she said, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, or the Lord, told her to leave her marriage. And that's just not true. That was something else she was hearing from, but because it wasn't from the Lord. And based on the context of what she said, there were really no problems. So this guy wasn't abusive or anything. She said she prayed to God. They were friends. I don't know where his spirit, where he sat. He sits with the Most High. Okay, but if she was, a woman that said she prays, you would have to think he would have to be in that vicinity somewhere. Okay, but no, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai did not tell her that, especially when it comes to marriage. Okay, and I'm going to prove that with scriptures. But just to go to prove, I use this opening scripture because Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai hath deprived her of wisdom, neither hath he imparted to her understanding. Okay, the Lord doesn't deal with women like that. He only deals with the man when it comes to that wisdom. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 8. Verses 1 through 4. All right, verse 1, and it reads, Doth not wisdom cry, and understanding put forth her voice? She standeth in the top of the high places, by the way in the places of the paths. She crieth at the gates, at the entry of the city, and at the coming in at the doors. And here's the point. Unto you, O men, I call, and my voice is to the sons of man. Now it says, unto men I call. Okay, that's telling you who it's going to. But when it says the sons of man, that lets you know specifically what man is going to. Okay, the elect men. You have three classes of men. Okay, the sons of the wicked. All right, which is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. The sons of men, those are the other nations, and the sons of God, or the sons of man, which is your Israelites today. Okay, so it's very clear who the wisdom was given to. The elect men of Israel. All right, let me go to back that up. That it's only two men. This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7. One of my favorite chapters, verse 28. It says, For Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai loveth none but him that dwelleth with wisdom. Him, not her. Okay? And we know, according to the scriptures, the Lord has spoken by the mouth of the prophets, not prophetesses, the mouth of the prophets since the world began. All right? You find that in several locations in the scriptures. Luke chapter 1, verses 68 through 70. And I want to say Acts 3 from 319 to like 321, 22. All right. So yeah, he's only dealing with the men when it comes to that wisdom. Now, in that same video, this is how we know. She said she was battling with herself. What kind of fight is that? You fighting in your own mind. That means you got demons. All right. You was listening to advice of other people. The scriptures clearly tell you how a wife is supposed to learn. This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 14, verse 34 35. All right. Verse 34, and it reads, let your women keep silence in the churches. All right. That's the assembly or the calling out of the gathering of the Israelite men. Okay. Churches in the New Testament is the same as the congregation in the Old Testament. All right. It says, for it is not permitted unto them to speak, but they are commanded to be under obedience, as also saith the law. Here's the point, verse 35. And if they will learn anything, let them ask their husbands at home, for it is a shame for women to speak in the church. Okay? So you know, you should be having that you should having that discussion with with your husband, you know, because we know the order according is the father Yahweh, the son Yahweh Shai, the husband, and then the wife. All right. Same chapter, you know, says let everything be done decently in order. All right. Yeah, there it is. That's verse 40. Let all things be done decently in order. You going to other folks when you're supposed to be going to your husband. All right. That's the same thing that happened in the garden. You know, that you know, Eve was not around when the Lord gave the command of not to eat of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, which is taking part of a doctrine. We know that was not an apple. As a matter of fact, apple's not even mentioned in scriptures in that part of Genesis. That's a doctrine, and we prove that with Sirach 19 and 19. Okay, but yeah, you know, and then she went and started speaking with, you know, start speaking with the serpent, and now look at her. You know, messed up a marriage, messed up the world. You know, or was the beginning of it. You know, as the scriptures say, you know, sin was with the let me see. I don't want to botch that. Sirach 25. I think it's 19. 25. 19. No, 25. Let me go check. No, 24. Verse 24. Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. All right. So, yeah. Because she told the serpent that they weren't supposed to eat of the tree of knowledge and good and evil. Where did she get that from? Adam. You know, the law was oral before it was written. He told her. Remember, she wasn't around when that command was given. So he told her. She learned from her husband who was at home. All right. Point blank, period. So yeah, you know, you listen to all those people, you battling with yourself. That wasn't Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Those are demons you were battling. All right. You pretty much called the Lord a liar when you said he told you that. All right. This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 13. Verse 4. And it reads, marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled, but whoremongers and adulterers Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai will judge. He says marriage is honorable in all. Honorable. But he told you to divorce your husband who really wasn't giving you any problems at all, right? Okay. Man, I tell you, these Jake women, yeah, something else was going on with that. You know, you guys were friends and all of that. And hey, just like the guy said in the video, you know, you were beguiled by the things that were going on outside of your bedroom. And now you done messed up your marriage and your family. All right. Just a mess. All right. But yeah, he didn't tell you that, you know. And here again, we just showed you in Hebrews 13:4. I'm going to go to 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verses 10 and 11. verse 10, and it reads, "And unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord, let not thy wife depart from her husband." What? The Lord said this. He's not saying this. He said, "Let not the wife depart from her husband." All right? It says, "But, and if she depart, let her remain unmarried or be reconciled to her husband, and let not the husband put away his wife." All right? You left him. You left him. Now that you done been out there, you know, hopefully, you haven't done anything with another man. Because if you have, he has every right not to take you back. That's the law, and I'm going to get to that too. Even if that man passes away, he is not supposed to take you back. All right? Because you left him for no reason. And we know, according to Amos 3:1 and 2, the Lord deals with us much more harshly because the law was given to us and no other nation on this earth. All right? Yeah. You left him, you divorced him. If you've been with another man, you cannot go back to him. And I hope he sees this too, to keep himself out of trouble. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 24, beginning in verse 1. And it's going to be straightforward. Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 1, and it reads, "When a man hath taken a wife and married her, had sex, okay, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he have found some uncleanness in her," okay, some uncleanness, you didn't had an affair or done something that's worthy of divorce, okay, "then let him write her a bill of divorcement and give it in her hand and send her out his house. And when she is departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife." Okay. But this wasn't the case in your situation. You left him. All right. Verse 3, "And if the latter husband hate her and write her a bill of divorcement and give it in her hand and send her out of his house, or if the latter husband die, which took her to be his wife," verse 4, "her former husband, which sent her away, may not take her again to be his wife. After that, she is defiled." All right. "For that is abomination before Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and thou shalt not cause the land to sin, which Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, thy power, giveth thee for an inheritance." So if you left him after 15 years and did something, you can't come back. No matter how good it was, you done went out to the other side now and realized you done fucked up royally. Okay? But truth be told, you've really marked yourself. And I'm going to get to that. The Lord's probably moving you out of that man's way because there was something going on that he probably didn't know about. Nothing just happens. The Lord knows everything, before it happens. It was already declared, the end was declared from the beginning, according to Isaiah 46 and 10. All right. Those things he already knew. So for you to just up and want to divorce him, something was going on. And we know, I don't want to say all women, but there's a lot of y'all. You are never going to tell the story that makes you accountable. Point blank, period. Never going to tell a story that shows where you have some accountability. It's always somebody else's fault. Even though, you just said it was just you. And you're not even going through that hormone menopause stuff, based on what I saw in the video. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna get Sirach chapter 23. Seems like this is coming out a lot too. Sirach chapter 23, starting at verse 22. And it reads, "Thus shall it go also with the wife that leaveth her husband, and bringing in an heir by another." But you left your husband. There's nothing said about you getting pregnant by somebody else, but you left your husband. It says, Thus shall it go with the wife that leaveth her husband and bringeth in an heir by another. For first, she have disobeyed the law of the Most High, okay, adultery. And secondly, she have trespassed against her own husband. And thirdly, she played the whore in adultery and brought children by another man. All right, that's not the case here, but you left your husband. And like I said, a lot of women, they're not gonna look. They hate talking about body count now. And not even married. How much more if she is married? All right. And I don't, don't want to make it seem like that. We're always getting on, but you all put this stuff out there. We're in those times. All right. We're definitely in those times. But here it is. You said that Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai told you to do that. What did he say? Marriages is honorable. He just said this. That you just lied, and the scriptures prove it. Those were demons you were dealing with, not Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Straight demons. They told you that. He just said marriage is honorable. But he told you to divorce when you weren't going through anything. The stuff that a lot of good women are looking for. But like I said, you've marked yourself because of what you said. You're on the record saying that. That's not going to go away. This is Proverbs chapter 30, verses 5 and 6. Verse 5. Every word of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai is pure. He is a shield unto them that put their trust in him. I don't think you did that. You didn't do that. And here's why. It says, add thou not unto his words, lest he reprove thee, and thou be found a liar. Yeah. You found a liar through the truth, through his word, by saying he told you to divorce your husband after 15 years. All right. But like I said, nothing just happens, like he declared the end from the beginning. Everything is going to have to fall in its order and come forth accordingly in its own measure. That's let me get that. Second Esdras. I believe that's Esdras 4 and 28. Nope. Let me see. By measure. Four and 37. Second Esdras 4 and 37. Okay, Khan. Says, by measure hath he measured the times, and by number hath he numbered the times. He doth not move nor stir them until said measure be fulfilled. So the fact that you did that, is setting up something else. You got a divorce, okay? And at this point in time, he got you out of the way because that your husband could be very well one of the elect. If he was this perfect guy that didn't do stuff, or trying to be perfect, honoring his marriage, and you go do this, yeah, you were being moved out of the way. This is Ezekiel 4. So it's like Ezekiel 9, 4 through 6. And it reads, verse 4, and Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai said unto him, he's speaking to an angel here, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. And those men are the prophets. That mark is the Hebrew word tawah, which is a mark of exemption from the Most High's wrath and judgment. All right, verse 5. And to the others he said in mine hearing, go ye after him through the city and smite. Let not your eye spare, neither have ye pity. Damn. So ain't no begging in the end. The Lord is not playing. He's tired of this wickedness on this earth, according to 2 Ezra 15. He ready to get rid of this place and the wicked 2/3 of his people. You just lied on him. All right. It says, verse 6, slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women, but come not near any man whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house. Those ancient men before the house were the old leaders. But in this scripture, utterly old and young, which includes women, both maids, women, little children, which little girls, little boys, okay, and women. That's a lot of y'all. For all the wicked stuff you do, namely like what you just did, lied on Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and told him, that he told you to leave your husband. Now, once again, this is based on the information that you divulged. That is the background of this video. All right. So with that, I hope this lesson was edifying to the elect body of the nation of Israel. Once again, going to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rahak HaKodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who were well in teaching us this 100% truth. Salutations to them and my fellow Akim who labor in this truth week in and week out on the highways and byways. Also, salutations to the hopeful elect, which is the 144,000 rulers and judges, and the innumerable multitude scattered abroad. Shalom to you, Kwam Yasharala, Abba Babal.